FFA students from across Illinois are in Springfield today as it's the annual Agriculture Legislative Day. Before talking to lawmakers, students gathered at the State Library to hear from several speakers, including Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton and the Department of Agriculture Director Jerry Costello II. Stratton says agriculture and the people who dedicate their lives to it are part of the lifeblood of Illinois.
To be frank, there is no Illinois without our ag professionals. And I'm not just talking about farmers, I'm talking about growers, land workers, educators, marketers, producers, legal teams, support staff. Every single role is vital to our collective success.
Leaders from the Illinois Farm Bureau also spoke about their legislative priorities, which include a bill raising the state's estate tax threshold and then extending the agritourism liability insurance tax credit as well.